All right, welcome back to AWS Launchpad. We've got another exciting session for you. We're talking about stuff we launched in the keynote this morning. Before we get into what that is, who are we?
My name's Brad Lyman. I'm a senior manager of product for AWS Marketplace. I cover our pricing, procurement, and product deployment portfolio of products.
So the triple Ps.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful.
I'm Nikki. You know me.
And I'm Nick. I hope you know me by now because I've been up here more times than I can count on two hands. Anyway, so we're talking Marketplace. Brad, what's new? What's exciting? I know we've got a lot, so don't say it all in one breath.
Oh man, so we had 3 recent announcements that we talked about today. 2 of them came out in the keynote for the Global Partner Summit.
Woo, woo.
Woo!
So the first one was our Discovery API. That's a way for our customers to find products, curate them, and give them to their end users within their own experiences. Next, we talk about cost tagging. Cost tagging lets our customers think about all the spend they have with AWS Marketplace, slice and dice that spend so they can understand at a granular level what their spends on Marketplace is. And then last, we talked about the GA for seller private offers. Seller private offers are the way that you get the best price and your custom legal terms when you buy something through AWS Marketplace.
All right, there's so much to unpack here. Let's do it one at a time because I don't want to miss out on any of the details. So first, let's talk Discovery API was the first one you mentioned. How is this helping customers that are on the Marketplace?
Sure, so we're builders in AWS, so anytime we do a feature that's going to be internally facing, we say, how do we turn this into an externally facing feature eventually? So we were putting AWS Marketplace products within all the consoles within AWS. You probably saw it in the SageMaker console, the Redshift console. Our customers were saying, I want to be able to put your products within the experiences I'm building on top of AWS for my end users. So we went and did the work of exposing that API directly. There's a private beta now that DLT and Deloitte are publicly talking about, and so they're actually building experiences for their end users directly to surface the right marketplace products when their end users need them.
So this is super exciting. You know, this isn't just a new launch, but it's in the hands of developers and they're using this. Yeah, so I mean, you went through some of the use cases. Anything else you want to call out from a use case perspective?
So I think the example with Deloitte is super interesting. We did a bunch of stuff around healthcare and life sciences at reInvent so far. So they actually have a healthcare life sciences portal that they've built, and we also launched AWS Data Exchange a few weeks ago. So Deloitte is actually going into our catalog, pulling out only data exchange products, only those related to healthcare and life sciences, so that as companies move to the cloud within healthcare and life sciences, they can find the products they need in order to solve their solutions.
This is super exciting. I always love when a service or a feature gets launched that helps to integrate and sort of be a force multiplier for lots of the already existing services.
I just want to see a demo.
Sure, yeah.
I'm all about it.
Let's go ahead. So I wish I could show you what our customers are building, but like I said, this is the same API that we're using internally, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like from the AWS consoles here.
Great.
So I'll start with the SageMaker console. Within SageMaker, you know, all the things I want with my Jupyter notebooks and labeling services.
This is where the machines do the learning, right?
Yes, exactly.
I spend a lot of time here.
So you can see that. So we have an experience for AWS Marketplace here. I can find products. I can search for products.
Oh, this is so cool.
I can see all the pricing plans I have. So look, there's one experience here. If I were to go into the services, though, I'm going to go ahead and shift over to Redshift. So same set of APIs, different service. Redshift just launched a new console, so it goes ahead.
Ooh, pretty.
Nice and shiny.
We've got Marketplace. Same APIs underneath. They built an entirely different experience that works for their customers there. So you can see that like same APIs are powering this the same way that a DLT, a Deloitte could build their experiences customized to what they actually need for their developers.
Wow.
That's really cool.
So that's what Discovery API is all about, and how we're going to start registering people into our private beta.
Great. Well, so one last thing on Discovery API. So is this available now, completely generally available, or private beta?
So right now it's private beta. So it's like we're taking people on a case-by-case basis, want to make sure that we find the right use cases and learn from customers to keep iterating there.
And if folks want to sign up or express interest in this?
Yeah, they should go to the AWS Marketplace website. They can register as a seller, and then they can start going through the process of reaching out to us and getting enrolled in the beta.
Wonderful. So,
ooh, how about cost tagging? You mentioned that one too.
Really glad you brought it up, Nikki. So cost tagging. Within this here, I've got so if I'll jump back into my demo here, I found, okay, I'm going to start with the Matillion product.
So you're just clicking on one?
Yeah, so I'm picking one product. I'm going to go into, when you go ahead and deploy a product here, you're going to be able to tag that product from the console.
Matillion, what a name.
It's a great
Does that
product.
come after a billion?
Yeah, it's actually, I could go into the naming of this thing, but I won't. So it's like when you go into your tagging, you can see tags. Within Marketplace, we think about the tags that you have for, we think about the tags that you're using on your software. When I go into, bounce into Redshift, continue to subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and start the launch process for a product. Continue to configure. When I go into, let's pull back from the demo.
I really like
tell
the
you
name.
about like.
I was just say broadly,
yeah.
so for folks
Yeah.
that may not have procured software on Marketplace, this is pre-built solutions from partners that may be on the Marketplace, other organizations.
Yeah, exactly. So we saw that, so our growth of AWS Marketplace, we've gone, we're currently at 850 million hours of EC2 every month deployed out of Marketplace.
Wow.
So huge volume that we have within Marketplace. You need to be able to have visibility on what you're actually deploying, what the costs are associated there. With a volume that much, with that much volume, we wanted to give the same ability to slice and dice things within AWS Marketplace as you had for things like EC2 and all the other resources you deployed. So we found that customers were actually using the same tags that they had on their software to think about their deployment. So we actually take the EC2 tags and naturally ingest them into that process so that all the things you do to tag an EC2 instance, you get the same tags automatically applied to your software costs.
Wow.
So this is really exciting for me, right? Because it's like, instead of just having a bill that says, your bill is for X piece of software, you can now see the breakdown of what that looks like internally, and you can actually understand that even though it's your workload and it's software you're vending from someone else, you see how the process breaks down.
Which instances there are.
Yeah,
exactly.
So let's go ahead and take a look at this, the Cost Explorer.
Check this out.
So one of the ways that you can find what tags you're using is Cost Explorer. This also flows through to third-party tools you might be using. Anything that can read an AWS bill will be able to see these cost tags. If I go ahead and I have service.
We got a question here.
What's that?
In order to become a seller on Marketplace, do you have to have an address in the US? Or can it be for any other region?
So right now, AWS Marketplace supports EMEA-based sellers and US-based sellers.
There you go.
We need to make sure, so if you have an EMEA, EU28, or a US address, you can register as a Marketplace seller.
EMEA as an acronym, again, not everyone may know that.
Yeah.
Europe, Middle East,
and Africa.
And Middle East, Africa, yeah.
So go ahead, I'm going to take a look at the last 7 days of this. I'm viewing by service, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over to view this by tag. So I can see my tags here. If I were to go to department, I can see that I've tagged things with my sales department and my marketing department. Most of my stuff is untagged, but you can see that I've got a decent amount of usage with sales and like the tiniest amount of usage on top of my marketing. I have a couple other tags. I could go into my host tag, see my favorite hosts. What do I have tagged for Nikki? What do I have tagged for Nicholas? Looks like we have the tiniest amount tagged for Nicholas, but
I'm very efficient.
A pretty decent chunk of that software tagged to Nikki there.
That's right. I use the most
you
software.
can go in and see exactly what you've done, where you've tagged it, and break down
I'm
that cost
costing you the
about
most money
how much bill do
right
I
out
have,
of the gate.
what do I have to charge you, and what do I have to charge you?
Wonderful. So, I mean, you know, to reflect on what this looked like, I know we hinted at it earlier, but before cost tagging, you sort of just didn't have insight.
Yeah, you just got one giant lump, and customers did a ton of stuff to try to break out those costs. They actually went back and looked at their bills, their instances, tried to match those things up. So this is just a way to take away all that complexity from that customer and just give them an easy way to get a view here.
So how do you set that tag?
Yeah, so if I were to go into, I'm going to bounce into Marketplace. We have a console powered by the same Discovery API. So we've been talking about Matillion. I'll go ahead and launch a new instance. Continue to launch through EC2. We take you directly into the EC2 console. I will go through the steps. I've selected smallest instance to keep those costs low.
Of course.
Default, add tags here. So you see, at the time that you deploy an instance, you can add a set of tags. So I can go ahead and say host, and then my value pair is going to be Nikki. Then I can go ahead, review and launch, and then deploy that instance automatically with acknowledging my key pair. So anyway, you can see that super easy to tag an instance when you launch it. The same set of commands are available through API and through CLI. So, you know, really any way that you want to interact, Marketplace tags will work with how you're going to interact with EC2 there.
Wonderful. Moving right along, we've got another item, obviously. So let's talk about the last thing that you launched, seller private offers. In my opinion, a huge type of launch. Again, it was in the keynote this morning. what are private seller offers all about, and then we'll get into who they help most.
This one I think is just like, I'm looking towards the future for this one.
No, totally. So yeah, seller private offers, we launched it a couple years ago. We put it behind a registration process because we wanted to make sure that sellers were using the right way, and that when we thought about what it meant for seller private offers, we ended up with the right experience for customers. We are now super comfortable with what we have with that experience, and so we've opened it up to any of the 1,500 plus sellers registered on Marketplace. On day one, when they register and create their first product, they can go ahead and extend you a private offer that will have custom legal terms and custom price, so that as your workloads grow, you can get the price that makes sense for your business, plus the terms you need to take that from a test environment into production.
So how does it work exactly? Let's say that you're the seller and I'm the buyer. We have to have a conversation offline, and then you set up a private offer?
Yeah, so this is like seller private offers. Seller means directed by the seller. They will come into Marketplace, into our self-service management portal, select your account, select your the product you're using, and then customize that price. So they'll basically say whether it's free, whether you have a lower discounted price, what your legal terms.
So we made a deal offline.
Yeah, we make a deal, then we facilitate that with a single click. You can agree to terms for the software you need to run your business.
And so in the status quo before seller private offers, this involved a lot of friction, because ultimately when you list the service on the Marketplace, it has some sort of set cost. And so unless you have a bunch of different identical offerings at different price points that you gate, it's just painful, right? So seller private offers helps bring all of that in-house into the AWS Marketplace.
Yeah, exactly. As you grow your deployments, you actually don't know how successful you're going to be on AWS, and so you could be surprised by the build that you have, and then at that point you want to say, hey, I think my volume's at that point where I think I should be getting a special price here.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think actually, like, in preparation for this demo, you can see that Matillion here, that's costing me a lot of money so far. I'm projected to spend.
The y-axis is irrelevant. It's just it's a lot of money.
It's irrelevant. It's like almost $80
So
there.
if you were Matillion, how would you go set up a private offer?
I actually already reached out to Matillion because I saw this prepping for the demo, and I was like, that's insane. I can't pay that kind of money.
No.
So I actually came back to Matillion. Let's go take a look at their detail page. Boom, right here. Private offer already extended.
And this is your specific AWS
account. You can see up in the corner my name. This is me. So when I go look at this pricing, you're paying $137 all the way up to like $5.48 an hour for this product. It's a great product, helps you load data into a tool like Redshift. It's an ETL tool, been listed on Marketplace for a long time. But let's go take a look at View My Private Offer. Prices go down all $1 each. They hooked me up pretty well with the private offer there.
Wow.
So you can see that now I can immediately start paying a lower price by proceeding. So what's crazy is, even though I deployed that software earlier in reInvent, just behind the scenes in the back end, we're going to switch that price, and so automatically the same instance without having to do anything will now be charged that lower price without me having to change my deployment. Before this, you would have to go redeploy, pull software back, like try to rebuild your infrastructure the exact same way you built it, and like that's just extra friction, extra problems for developers, and so we knew that we had to make it easier, and now all 1,500 vendors who are listed in Marketplace can just start doing that on day one.
So I was going to ask who this feels the most valuable to. I mean, I'm going to give my hunch, and then please correct me if I'm wrong.
Please.
As SaaS or other software companies that vend tools to other companies are growing, and they have these very different nuances as they're growing and selling in different ways, this feels like the multi-tool that helps them really streamline that process and keep it all within AWS.
Yeah, so I mean, exactly. It's like anyone building solutions, like we announced SageMaker offers now support private offers, SaaS, Omni, containers. You can basically create a private offer on almost all the products on Marketplace. So as you build, as you reach that threshold of like, I think I need a private offer because I have my use case has grown, like we facilitate that. So all that stuff that you couldn't do within Marketplace that you had to do elsewhere, you can still get cost tagging, you can still get consolidated billing. All those benefits come with the benefits of the price that you and the seller both want to receive.
How does it work as transactions increase, and can a seller put an expiration date on a private offer, or how does that?
Yes. So that is totally how it works. You can set an expiration both on how quickly you can accept that private offer. So if you think about it, I'm going to give you 7 days to accept this. You just can't sit on this private offer forever.
No.
You've got to have a certain
Come on, it's like a sale.
Negotiation 101,
yeah.
come on.
And so then, you don't get this offer forever. So I actually set an expiration date beyond that. So you have 7 days to accept this offer. And then after that, 1 year later, you're going to switch back to that public price. So come to me then and we'll give you another private offer. Yeah, exactly.
And do you have any insight into why this negotiation again on a virtual marketplace item is really valuable with respect to how the negotiation process happens naturally, right? Like there's usually a lot of back and forth, right? And so
yeah, so AWS Marketplace started as an amazing place for you to get going quickly and build your solution. You can test something, you can take advantage of a free trial, and then as it grew, we had customers saying like, whoa, I didn't realize that my project was going to be so successful. I didn't realize that I was going to have this much traffic coming here. What can you do to help me? And so we basically said, if we solve this problem for them, it makes it so much easier to test, deploy, and not have to think about it as a separate experience. It's all just part of that initial build, buy, deploy, without having to worry about rebuilding and rebuying and redeploying.
Yeah, and this is really exciting to me because you're also empowering the sellers, right?
Yeah.
This isn't the type of system where people can proposition a company through the software and inundate them with offers.
Exactly.
It's sort of like a one-way feature launch that helps facilitate an already existing sort of interaction.
It's a way, you can think about it as a way for AWS to let our sellers have the same customer obsession that we have, because they can go ahead and think about price and think about improving that experience directly.
So you talked about so many launches today. Which one do you think our customers are most excited about? Which one are you most excited about?
You can't make him
I can't pick.
Come on.
They're all my babies. I can't pick which one.
Well, how do
I
you
like
see
most.
the future of these features growing the marketplace?
I think that almost all these features kind of imply that there's more of a story to tell. When we think about the Discovery API, we're exposing one of the gestures that you can do on Marketplace. Like, we want to be able to empower customers to build the experiences they want, so we have to think about what other gestures we can give them so they can get products where they need them and when they need them. The other piece, when we think about cost tagging, we talked about Omnis a lot, but we have SageMaker models, SaaS, like we need to give customers a complete story around cost tagging and cost allocations. So we have more things to do and we're excited for 2020. But private offers, I think, is the one that I'm most excited about, because we've seen a huge number of sellers come very interested in private offers. It's grown like a weed since we launched it in 2017.
Can only imagine.
And now that we don't have to think about onboarding each one individually, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know how many sellers we'll get, how many sellers will start creating private offers, but that's the great thing. I don't have to know, because it's a system that scales and that everyone can use now. So
super cool.
Nikki asked a great question, because everyone in Twitch chat has the gears turning too, thinking about what might be next. We actually have a question from Twitch chat, this one from Daily Disclosure. Is there any functionality or plans to automate extending these seller private offers based on certain criteria? So examples would be, if you vend enough of EC2 instances or time as a customer. Any plans for that?
So we are thinking about all the ways that we can give the best price to our customers, and we're going to look to automate it around a lot of different avenues. I think when I talked about the gestures around Discovery API and how there's more gestures there, we're going to keep looking at how we iterate around how we do that automation and what those things in the future that we're going to give. I can't commit to anything, but I think we want to make sure that all the ways our sellers want to sell, we let them do it as easily and fast as possible.
And to segue right off of that, much like in the same way that these services and features are a direct result of customer feedback and listening to what they're actually doing out in the wild, we want to hear what sorts of different criteria would be valuable, right? So we're not developing this in a black box. We want to hear your feedback, and letting the marketplace team know through Twitch chat or however else you can contact us is how we help to build that roadmap. So please, if you have opinions, vocalize them to your account manager, to whoever your contact is at AWS.
We love hearing from our customers. You could say we're obsessed with them. So we think about how can we hear about them? We've had multiple sessions at reInvent. When I did my session, I threw my email address up there because I want people to send us that feedback. So we're super excited. Check out all the sessions when we post them online later in the week, because we actually go through step by step how you create a private offer, how you you make that happen, how you target an account, how you share that information with them. So like reInvent's an awesome time to share all these things and go pretty deep with customers, but please reach out to your account manager, let us know. Go to the marketplace page if you haven't registered as a seller yet. It's a totally self-service experience. I did it live in under 30 seconds last year, so it's a very easy process.
And if Twitch wants to get in contact with you and talk to you about seller private offers or anything, you have a Twitter
Oh man, I'm Bradford Lyman, just at Bradford Lyman.
Okay.
We'll get that in the chat. I also posted links to the separate documentation pages for Discovery API, cost tagging, and seller private offers. But with that, I think we are out of time. So, Brad, it's been a pleasure.
So great. This is my 3rd time on Launchpad. Best time so far. Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure always.
We'll be sure to have him back. But with that, signing off for this session. We'll be back in just a moment. Hang tight. See you soon, everyone.
Thank you.